Hey, Canucks fans, add another player to the Canucks injured list, and General Manager Patrick Alvin met with the media today. I'm Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks Take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, October the 26th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I will not be streaming tonight. I have a late work event, and there's no Canucks game, and I want to rest my voice, get some studying done, because I have a double stream tomorrow with Game On Vancouver, and then my own vlog, my own stream as well. So again, I will not be streaming tonight. I said last night that I would be, but I won't. I'll use that time to get other things done, but I have a double stream for you tomorrow, Game Over Vancouver and Clay's Canucks commentary live. Today, a big day for the Canucks, not because they are playing. Sure, they practice. I'll get to that in a second. But the practicing is probably only the third biggest story of the day. Patrick Alvin met with the media, kind of unexpected, unannounced, and I'll get to some of his key points in a second. But the biggest thing is Curtis Lazar added to the injured list. He is out 3 to 4 weeks. Don't know what the injury is, but Patrick Alvin did say that he suffered it in one of the earlier games in the season. I actually think it might be, I thought it might be the preseason game against Arizona where he got tangled up a couple times, but we'll take Alvin's word for it. That happened early in the regular season, and the doctor said he has to get it taken care of, whatever it is. My guess is lower body. Actually, I have no clue what it is. I shouldn't speculate. But we do know that Lazar is going to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks, joining Brock Boeser on the injured list. So both of those guys were put on the IR. Means you have to miss at least 1 week of games. And then at least it's not LTIR, which is 24 days and 10 games, or a month and 10 games. But yes, Boeser and Lazar put on the IR. And then Hughes is not on the IR, so he should be able to come back soon, hopefully. And then you still have Dermott on the IR, and then Pullman likely on the IR, moving to long-term injury reserve. Alvin also did say that both with Hughes and Boeser, although they might not play tomorrow night in Seattle, that he expects them back next week. So to me, that tells me not against Seattle on Thursday, not against Pittsburgh on Friday, but then the Canucks don't play again until Tuesday. So they have 3 days between games, a perfect chance to get Hughes and Boeser both healthy. But it does mean it's 2 more games without Hughes and Boeser. I'll talk a bit more about what Patrick Alvin said in a second. So with the Curtis Lazar injury, the Canucks basically loaded up their top 2 lines. They had to call up Sheldon Dries. They had to call up William Lockwood to fill in these spots vacated by Boeser and Lazar. So as expected, as I actually predicted last night, the Canucks now top line is Miller, Horvat and Miller. So Horvat, Miller, and Garland. Then your second line is Petey, Kuzmenko, and Mikheyev. So that's your top 6. Then you have Pearson and Hoglander with Oman on your third line. And then you had Dries playing with Podkolzin and Joshua on the fourth line. So again, Horvat, Miller, Garland, Petey, Kuzmenko, Mikheyev. Then a third line of Oman with Pearson and Hoglander. And Podkolzin goes to the fourth line to play with Joshua, centered by the newly recalled Sheldon Dries. Then on D, they have the 7 healthy defensemen rotating through. So that's Oyel, Myers, Shen, Rathbone, Juleson, Brisebois, and Burrows, because Stillman, Hughes, Dermott, and Myers are all still out. So not great. Sorry, not Myers. Hughes, Dermott, and Stillman are all still. I'm missing someone because there's 11 defensemen. Okay, I'll figure that out later. But all you need to know is Hughes, Dermott, and we're not practicing with the team. Yeah, Oyel, Myers, and Pullman, of course. Yes, 4 defensemen. I'm with it. Hughes, Dermott, Stillman, and Pullman are all out. So that means the 7 were Oyel, Myers, Shen, Rathbone, Burrows, Juleson, and Brisebois, the recently called Guillaume Brisebois. Okay, I'm with you. Let's talk about what Patrick Alvin said. The first thing he said, he wanted to calm everyone down. Basically, he said, among other things, he's confident in this team, and in particular in the young core of this team. He says we have some really good young players, and we just got to start winning. He appreciates the passion of this fan base. He says the fan base has been really good understandably kind of getting a little bit restless. But he said the fans here in Vancouver are great. He said ownership, he has the full support of ownership. He stopped short of saying he's given Bruce Boudreau his full support. Basically said that they have to work together, work tightly together to get this turned around. He gave those injury updates that I talked about as well. And I think the most interesting thing was when it came to this thought of a rebuild. And twice specifically, he was asked about a rebuild. Do the Canucks have to enter into rebuild? Should the Canucks enter into rebuild? And both times he didn't really answer it. Both times he referenced Pittsburgh without saying the city's name, but he said that he's been part of a rebuild, that rebuild's a funny word, and that where he was part of a rebuild, they won 3 cups in that city. And we obviously all know that he's talking about Pittsburgh. Now, you could say, well, maybe that's because you had guys like Crosby and Malkin and Letang and Fleury, but he always wasn't going to start rattling off players' names. But that was obviously the young core of Pittsburgh at the time. And I'm not saying he's equating this to Vancouver, but it kind of harkens back to what he said about believing in the young core here of the PD, of the Demko, and of the Hughes. So again, he didn't flat out state that he wanted to rebuild. He didn't flat out state that we are in a rebuild, but he did say that all teams, all good teams, are always looking to rebuild and to improve. So no surprise that he didn't really say much in terms of the rebuild. But I think it was really good that Patrick Alvin actually met with the media, because oftentimes we hear from Benning once a year at the start or end of the year, and that's it. Whereas Alvin felt the need to address the media just 7 games into the season. Last thing I want to bring up is you talked about Bo Horvat. We know that Bo is a UFA at the end of the season. We know that his chances to re-sign here may have taken a bit of a dent when the Canucks re-signed JT Miller. And with Bo Horvat, he said that their plan to negotiate with Horvat has not changed at all, given the poor start by the Canucks. He said he hasn't talked to Horvat's agent in the past 2 weeks, but that Horvat's a very important part of this team, and that he's going to be a very important part of the team winning going forward. Now, when he said going forward, we don't know if that means short-term, i.e. this season, or long-term, lock him up to a contract. So I'd say overall with Patrick Alvin, there wasn't anything that he said brand new, earth-shattering, news-making, except for the updates on the injuries, especially Curtis Lazar. He was relatively coy yet honest, and that's what Alvin I've noticed. He's very honest, he's very straightforward, yet he doesn't say a lot of new things. So we talked about the rebuild, he talked about Horvat, he talked about the fans, he talked about ownership, but nothing that I would say is completely news-breaking or shocking. So Canucks fans, day off, no game today, but a lot of news. New lines at practice, a revamped top 6, injury news to Curtis Lazar, and the general manager meeting with the media today. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling about anything, especially if you heard what Patrick Alvin had to say, or based on my commentary just now, anything that he said stand out to you. Also, let me know what you think about this Curtis Lazar injury. Do you think he's been good? I think he's been really good for the team so far. I can't wait to see him even at his full strength. And let me know what you think of these new top 6 lines. Miller, Horvat, and Garland, Pettersson, Kuzmenko, and Mikheyev, which is the line they actually broke training camp with as well. Okay, there we go. I will not be streaming tonight. As I said, I have a big work event, but I'll come back tomorrow with 2 streams. Game Over Vancouver on the Steve Dangle Podcast Network, and then my own CCC Live, one after the other. And hopefully, we were talking about the first Canucks win of the season, and they'll do it in Seattle tomorrow night. Shout out to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. Thank you to legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members, and thanks to all of you for continuing to support me on this channel. We're growing, moving towards 10K. I still got to go find the rest of my voice, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and subscribe if you like to, like this video if you like to, leave a tip, a donation if you'd like to, become a member or upgrade if you'd like to, and leave a comment down below if you like to. Your thoughts on the lines, your thoughts on Lazar's injury, your thoughts on what Patrick Alvin had to say. Now, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.